Hello everyone and welcome to the next interview for the SRB2 community channel. I'm really excited to present today's host. Today's guest is going to be unlike anyone else we've seen on the channel so far because this is going to be someone who has been speedrunning this game for a tremendously long period of time. All the way back when we had the final demo version of this game, back when like literally strafing in the air while you're flying wasn't a thing. We only had like free zones. It was the best time for gaming. It was a remarkable period of time. And today's speedrunner is going to be an absolute legend from that time. One of the earliest recordings that we've ever seen for the speedruns of this game, and they were just untouchable speedruns as well for back in the time. And not only was today's guest really well known for his exceptional speed with Sonic and Knuckles back in the day, but once final demo was over and we eventually got the 2.0 update, we eventually saw today's guest revolutionizing the game with Tails, with a strategy that sadly no longer exists. It was the strafe flying, where you could get basically infinite speed as long as you were flying from just holding the strafe in the direction that you were going. It was a very remarkable strategy. It's genuinely a shame that it's gone because it was so fun. I really do miss it. It was definitely the most fun that Tails has ever felt in this game. And speaking of today's guest as well, you know, definitely well known for speedrunning characters like Knuckles, but not only that, speedruns all the underdog characters. We see them with Amy and Fang, a true supporter. We saw genuinely like the most speedruns that were done, I think, in the early days of this game were done by this today's guest. Like, honestly, I don't think there was many resources at all for these two characters as well, which, you know, saying a lot to get it to the stage that he did. And definitely what today's guest is most known for will be the 200 emblems. This was an insane category. It was very long when it was first introduced, and obviously when we first started seeing speedruns for this game, but managed to get it all the way down to sub 3 hours. It's like an incredible feat, honestly, and yeah, regardless, like, needless to say, an incredible achievement. We're of course talking about today's guest, LunickTMM. How are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. Sorry, dog immediately barked as soon as you started talking.
Love that. Just really wanted to
be on the interview.
Yeah, I mean, we can interview him afterwards.
You want that, Toby? You want to interview him and how often people heard you clanging into your keys when I was doing emblem runs? He's got his collar off now, so you won't hear him jingling, but he will definitely be barking at some point.
Yeah, that was definitely, I remember that from the speedruns whenever the dog would bark and it was just the dog emojis in your chat.
Yeah. He likes to be heard.
Yeah, for sure. Such a good boy. But yeah, obviously as I said in our intro just now, you've been speedrunning this game for an awfully long time. Like, version, you know, final demo, that's when I first saw your speedruns, and I genuinely want to know, like, when did you actually discover this game? How did you discover this game?
Okay, so I discovered this game how most people discovered this game back in, like, what, 2005 or whatever. Just someone else posted a random YouTube video and it was like, check out this cool 3D Sonic game. It's better than Sega game. And I'm like, wow, that looks really cool. And I wanted to download it. And I had to spend a literal week convincing my mom it was not a virus, because this was like the age where like everything you download is a virus. You can't download anything off the internet. It is a virus. It will corrupt your computer. You will lose your everything. And I'm like, Mom, it's silly little Sonic game, please.
I mean, it's true, you know, this is back in the day when, like, we were all downloading RuneScape and we wanted the Dragon Scimitar mouse cursor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was like specifically RuneScape itself that was like the catalyst for why, because I think like my mom like read a report about RuneScape specifically causing like people to like lose their computers or whatever, and like my brother and I were super big into RuneScape at the time, so she like was me like, you cannot play this anymore. This is bad for our computer. We need this like.
Oh, no, I understand. Especially with the warnings nowadays when you download the game, it does come up with this might be a virus. Like, even now, it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There was no defending our case back in the day that this wasn't a virus.
No, I eventually just kind of did it without her knowing because I'm like, all right, I know for sure this is fine. I'm gonna download it, and then it's gonna be on the computer to know about. And she, it was like maybe like months later, she caught me playing it, and she's like, "Is that?" And I just like lied to her. I told her it was like a disc my dad bought me.
That's beautiful. The things we do. I mean, I remember downloading this game onto like my iPod at the time and just using it to keep all the files so I could use it on like the school computers.
Oh, I did want to bring up. You mentioned about like you first saw my speedruns. Like I actually like. I don't know if you know this. The speedrun, like we didn't even have time attack until 1.09.3.
Oh wow!
So literally, yeah, literally, when I started posting videos was right when they added the replays feature at all, and like that wasn't a thing for the longest time.
Yeah, because that was such a big like moment. Obviously, because when you're recording, I think back then everyone used like fraps to record their screen or unregistered hypercam.
Unregistered hypercam too,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, those were the days. But like, I remember with fraps specifically, it used to like drop my frames, so I was like, thank God for demos. What was it that you were using? Were you unregistered hypercam?
So I think I was unregistered hypercam, and then I found a way to get rid of the little unregistered hypercam thing. I think there was like someone found like the settings to get rid of it, and so like that, like all you can see like all my later videos like didn't have it. I think the very first video I uploaded, I think you played it at the start here, maybe not, but it was the Castle Eggman Zone 1, like the original version.
Yeah.
I don't think that was even it. I think it was like something. I think I had a different one, and maybe you found the one, but like I remember that was the first run I ever uploaded was Castle Eggman Zone 1 because I thought it was really cool. I found that crawler bounce in the water. Genuinely, if you ask me, I don't know how to beat that stage any other time. If you put that stage in front of me, I would be lost forever.
I remember being so gutted the first time I saw that speedrun because, like, genuinely, I don't know if anyone here has actually played the final demo, but, like, that stage is so dark. Like, you cannot see anything in that
It's
water.
awful.
So I was always like, where is this crawler? Just blind jumping every time. It was awful.
So the way I did it was I just figured out how it moved and then guessed. The run I uploaded was just one of the times where I got it right, and I'm like, yeah. just had to take a wild guess at it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how a lot of the early speedrunning went, though. But I want to say, like, obviously there wasn't many tools to speedrun, like not speedrunning. There wasn't many tools to recording back in the day. What even sparked the inspiration for like recording these runs?
As far as just recording, I don't like. My interests are weird in that, like, as soon as I feel like I really want to do something, I just go for it. And so it was just kind of like I really enjoyed the game, big Sonic fan, and then I was just like, holy cow, this game is really fun. I really like it, and there just wasn't like a lot for the game already, and I wanted to kind of help support it. And even though like I'm like, you know, freaking child, you know, but I figured like anything that I do would be helpful, and I was just like, well, I'll just upload my own thing. You know, just add more to it. You know, more people want to. I'm sure more people want to see this. I wanted to see this, so I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, I remember being really inspired by these videos, but like, oh my god, trying to frame it right, because again, it was really hard to get like good equipment to to record it and stuff, and you know, lag the game and stuff. Like, oh my god, people have it so nice these days. Sometimes,
Oh yeah.
sometimes I feel like I was a child in the wrong year. Like, honestly.
The kids today will never know our struggles.
No, bring back the unregistered type account days. That was. No,
We'd need a unregistered OBS.
I love that. We need to do that. Now, obviously, you've still kept it in your name these days, the TMM. But what inspired the first name, Tails Mastermind?
So that was actually a middle school joke. Because like as a child growing up, I was a huge fan of Tails. I was a younger brother. I always liked the underdog characters. And like in my friend group, like a lot of people just, you know, people thought Tails was a girl. Like it's just like typical. It's very like kind of the kind of feminist looking, especially in like the Adventure Days, had that like high pitched voice. You know, it's and like, you know, oh yeah, it makes sense. You know, Sonic has like a little girlfriend. It's Tails. But like I was like, no, you guys are wrong. Tails is a boy. It's Sonic's brother. I read the manual, and they're just like, oh, are you some kind of Tails mastermind? And so that's just how it stuck.
That's such a hilarious reason.
Yeah.
Oh my! I always assumed it was because you did so much speedrunning with Tails, but that's even better. Wow.
Nope, just really big fan of Tails.
So next question, where did the name Lunick come from?
A little less inspired. This actually came from. Do you know the Pokemon Ranger series?
Oh yeah, the spinning the little circles and all that.
Yeah, so I got really into that game. It was like a real big joy for me. I played it through like many times. And of course, you know, as a young boy who likes staring at girls, you play as the girl. And the guy's name in that is Lunick, and I just like heard that name. I'm like, wow, I really like how that sounds. So I just was like, and I kind of wanted to like rebrand off of Tails Mastermind, because that was like, you know, you kind of want to get off of your silly little name from when you were like 12.
Oh yeah,
and so,
no, I understand.
Yeah, so I just added Lunick in as like the main name because I just liked how it sounded, and that's essentially it.
No, that's pretty cool. It's nice that you like merged it though, to show like, oh, you know, the same guy just sort of updated to modern standards, you know.
It did not work. Everyone was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" I'm like, "I put TMM at the name. It's me, Tails Mastermind. You guys know me. Please, I just want to change my name, please."
Let me be cool.
yeah. Please, I don't want to be cringe anymore.
Oh my goodness. Now, obviously, you've speedrun this game for a long time, but like, did you have a favorite period of speedrunning? Was there ever one that stuck out? Obviously, all the versions of this game, I think, played very differently from each other.
I mean, like, the really simple answer is really just to say current version. I mean, like, the amount that we can do now, the quality of lives that have happened between all the characters, and like how much they differentiate from each other. Because I mean, like, it's just really nice. But the really funny and like selfish answer for me is like mid 2.0, where I was like one of 3 people running the game, and at one point I held every record on the speedrun category. Like every single one, for every character, for everything, even like because like they kept up records for SRB1, because I think there's like a speedrun category for that, and I at one point literally every character was me. I don't have the screenshot anymore, but on my mom's old computer I had a screenshot of like just going down the list of me having every record.
That's what, like, that is such a good answer, honestly. I would have said the same. Not for the same reason. Obviously, I didn't have that many records back in 2.0, but I loved 2.0 speedrunning. I think Tails, as he was back then, was exceptional fun to run with. I don't think people these days will understand just how fun strafe flying was.
Oh yeah, that was a absolute blast. Like, I Tails is like fine now, but like strafe flying just created such a unique way to play the game in comparison, and there's just no like getting around it.
Yeah, because I think nowadays, don't get me wrong, there is great skill to being able to frame perfect spin fly and whatnot and get all that speed, but having the strafe fly just gave Tails like something else that was just really fun, and it wasn't too hard to do, but also it rewarded you for knowing like the level layout, because a lot of people might not know to strafe fly, you pretty much are playing the level blind.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of which, how did that come about? Did you find this, or was this someone else's tech that you eventually ended up sort of improving over time?
So the way it actually worked, and like I think there's even like some comments in the strafe fly video, the one where I'm like doing the one race stage. I think it was like, I think the title was like not a Thok Fest, or Spit Races a Thok Fest or something, whatever. Anyway, it actually came about from Match. And like, if you talked to a lot of the like prominent Match CTF players back during that era, a lot of them will say like, oh yeah, we knew about this, because it was the main tech that Tails players used in Match to to keep up, because like otherwise it literally would be just a Sonic only section, because like there was no way like flying as Tails would ever be viable. You'd just be sniped out of the air instantly. But like, so like it was actually like a pretty popular thing in like high level match rooms, and I just kind of was like, well, why are we only using this for Match? This feels like it would be really useful for time attack, because otherwise Tails also just had nothing going for him. And so I just started implementing it from there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that the match players were just all these little gremlins, speedrunning in disguise. But oh my god, I can't imagine trying to hit someone in match straight flying as Tails.
Oh, yeah. There's one zone. It's like just like the big tower in the middle, and it's just like a donut. I can't think of what any of the match stages are. I don't even know if it's still in SRP2, but that one was a menace, because Tails players would literally just sit on the outside ring, just infinitely gaining speed and strafing while just sniping people with the rail cannon. It was miserable.
Oh my god. I love that. That sounds beautiful. You've got to remember as well, people that are watching that, like, Match, you had this awful lag as well. Like,
Yep.
it wasn't like Call of Duty or anything. Like, you really had to try and line stuff up in a weird way.
Bomb rings were king.
Oh my god.
You just chuck them everywhere, you will hit someone.
Also, the little cross ring thing. Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Didn't really have to aim as much. That was, beautiful days. Bring me back. We still have it, but people are great now. Bring me back to when people were a bit worse.
Yeah, I gotta feel better about myself.
Yeah. So as we're seeing in the background, I think this was sort of the first time people sort of got to know you was through your devotion to the underdog characters like Knuckles in the background. What led to that? What led to you running Knuckles predominantly?
So a big motivator was just like the lack of interest in the character. Like, it felt like there was so much unexplored. I wanted to do more Sonic, but like I was getting like some wrist pains between like playing Smash and like having to do docking and like flicking my wrist like that constantly was not enjoyable. So I just like I just felt like I couldn't really contend in a way that I would have felt good about. So I was like, well, let's try someone else. And like, I was actually in kind of a bit of a big like Knuckles kick. I think that was about when. Do you know the Smash Mod P Plus or Project M?
I've heard of this. I'm not too sure what it is though.
It's a modification of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It adds like a bunch of like melee-esque mechanics, but they had a version out that had a playable Knuckles, and so I was playing Knuckles at the time, and so that was like a catalyst for me being more interested in Knuckles. Yeah, Project Melee, that's like another name for it. I think like now, like the big name for it now is P+, but like they had a playable Knuckles back in the day, and I was like really enjoying playing as Knuckles, and like I was just like, well, you know what, let's just do Knuckles.
It's quite cool. Following on from that, this question was asked ahead of time, but what sort of guidance would you give to someone who was new to the Knuckles run and was looking for ways to improve or just start the run in general?
Ooh, that's interesting. I think the best advice I would give is like go to like a big map. I would say particularly like the match maps. I think there's like a green flower match map or something where it has like a decent amount of space and a high vantage point. Do a big spin dash and then just practice how like different speeds of spin dashing and gliding and how quickly you can turn without losing speed. One of the hardest things to do as Knuckles is to be able to glide and maintain spin dash speed. Just because like if you turn too sharply, like Knuckles just immediately loses all speed. But you also need to be turning like fast enough to be able to like make corners and such like that. I think learning glide control is like one of the biggest things to learn as Knuckles over anything.
Yeah, no, that's a good one to look out for. Because I think the same advice probably would go to Tails players as well, because yeah, you've got to get used to it. It's not like Knuckles. I think with Knuckles you can only turn with the strafe keys, but with Tails it's like the mouse. So you've got to get used to that if you're running either character respectively.
I think it's actually opposite. That like you can only turn with the mouse. I think if I remember correctly with Knuckles and strafing, it like strafing is actually like worse because of how, or no, cause I think you can combine it both actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like redoing the keys in my head because I think strafing will actually help you because it like is an instantaneous 45-degree change, and you can't like just strafe because I think Tails can just strafe, right?
Yeah. Well, you can like position a little bit. Yeah, you're normally changing the mouse if you want to like move direction. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like with Knuckles you can't hold like just A or D, like whereas Tails you can do that because of how his momentum works. But like for Knuckles you have to hold W the whole time.
Yeah.
I saw Ethereal bring this up, and this is something I wanted to kind of like touch on, just that I remember being interesting and like was quote unquote a Knuckles only tech. I remember back when I did the Metal Sonic race, I think you specifically asked me like, how the hell am I like doing these frame perfect Knuckles spins? Like at the very end. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh yes, off the what's it called, that spring, yeah.
Yeah, and you would like ask me like, dude, Lunick, how are you doing these? These are like frame perfect spins, right? And I'm like, no, if you hold spin and jump, as soon as you hit the ground, you'll immediately spin again. Like, what the hell? You've been keeping this tech from us? And it's like, it only matters for Knuckles, because like, for Tails, you want to be flying. It's way better to be flying. And for Sonic, why are you not talking?
Well, it's funny you say that actually, because a recent discovery there with Sonic was that it is faster to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's apparently a second faster, which is crazy. So yeah, well, you were hiding the tech from us. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, obviously, now that we're on the topic of Knuckles, we love that guy, of course. We don't joke about him at all. But speaking of joking about him, do you want to explain the short meme history that we've had and why he's sometimes referred to as a modded character in our little community?
I don't know what you mean. Knuckles is a base character. I don't understand the modded joke. It doesn't make sense to me. You're all criminals. I mean, like obviously, like I think I really enjoy like the way Knuckles has played out. Obviously, like I think there's like a little tweaks, but I think it's weird because like I always find it interesting how everyone else is like, oh, we hate that he like stops like when he lands. I think like the only one I personally dislike was the like stop when you're gliding. But I kind of like see the reasoning for it. The stop when you land, I think, was interesting. We'll get back to that later. But like the modded thing is just like because no one likes Knuckles, right? No one wants to play Knuckles because he feels weird and
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, this toolkit, like, who made this mod? Yeah. No, I remember like contributing a lot to this meme just because it was so funny to hate on Knuckles, but honestly, it just feels like he got such a short end of the stick. Like, they didn't give him anything, they didn't give him any jump height. He can't access any of his own routes, really. Like, they're all slower. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
it felt like it was just like this joke character. It's like, what have they done to him?
So like the jump height is in reference to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where like Knuckles had the lower jump height. I do think that is something interesting that is not well explored in the main campaign. Like I think casually that makes Knuckles kind of frustrating, but I do think that actually makes Knuckles a little more interesting as far as speedrunning wise goes, just because like you now have to compensate for this issue. Kind of similar like with like Amy and Fang, how they kind of have these weird quirks that make them a little bit annoying, but it's like how can you like work around those to make an interesting character?
Yeah, because you also have to realize, I guess, that if they just gave him Sonic's jump height, we just have Sonic 2.0, that wouldn't have been very interesting.
That's the big thing about like why I disliked 2.0 Knuckles so much, is he literally is just like Sonic point 0.7, because like the glide back then was basically a poor man's Thok.
Yeah, because there's a strat that we do these days with Metal Sonic, and it used to be the strat for Knuckles, where you would start a stage, you would do like a short spin, you would jump, and then you'd do this like tiny little glide. Knuckles used to do that, I believe, to just get this instant burst of speed. Something that you
I
can't
think we
do
just did
anymore,
the glide,
though.
actually.
Oh, really? Even just a glide? That's crazy.
Yeah, because it puts you up to like I think like Knuckles' speed cap was 32 back then, and glide instantly puts you at 20.
Oh, wow, yeah. So skipping a lot of the running at the start, that's pretty nice. But yeah, we don't get it anymore with the little stop that he does. I think the joke with that as well is that, like, Knuckles very rarely is going fast enough with the little stop, like, really comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I don't know. Like I understand it. I just personally really enjoyed the stop because it's like one of Knuckles' biggest points to gain speed was through spin dash chaining, and the stop on the glide allows Knuckles the point to like instantaneous stop, which is not something any other character with spin dash is capable of. So if you want to be able to spin dash right away, you just like as you're landing, you initiate a glide and cancel it, and then you can instantly start a spin dash.
No, that is nice actually. Just having this clear indication that you can do an action again. Because let's be honest, there's been times when that's not really been very clear with other characters, like if you've actually landed on the ground or not. So that is nice to have that indication.
It's not even like the indication. It's that like when Knuckles does the landing, like he slows down tremendously, and you like the way the game works is you have to be under a certain speed to initiate a spin dash, right?
Oh yeah, that's so well, yeah.
So like if you are gliding as Knuckles and like you are at spin dash speed already, but let's say you need to stop and start another spin dash, you can cancel the glide just as you're touching the ground. Oh, there's the boy. You can it'll instantly put you in that little crouching animation, and then right after that you can start a spin dash. You don't need to like skid to a stop.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There was a question asked earlier about this, by the way, and it was if you could change anything about Knuckles, like right now, what would it be? I thought that was pretty interesting.
Okay, so the change I would specifically want would be something that would, it's a little bit weird, but I think would benefit Knuckles overall, and I think would make people more interested in the character. I want to keep both like the stopping out of glide and the landing out of glide, but what I would really think would be a good benefit is that if you are holding W as you are doing this, it will not stop you.
Oh, that would be nice.
So you get the best of both worlds. So like let's say the scenario where I wanted, where I need to stop instantly to start a spin dash, I can let go of a movement key, and then that will instantly stop Knuckles so I can spin dash. But if I want to maintain that speed while landing, or like maybe I want to like get out of the glide to fall faster, I just hold W, but I let go, and then rather than having to lose all of my speed, I now am falling normally and can just keep going. Side thing that like potentially would also be good is that if you're gliding and you hold spin, you would be able to instantly land in a spin dash. I think that would be another decent like change. I think that one's a little bit harder because of the way SRP2 is coded, because I know like you can't hold spin and Thok as Sonic.
Yeah, there's weird like buffer frames and stuff. Yeah. No, but that would be a nice change.
I don't think it's buffer frames. I think it's like when you're in the special state of using your ability, you can't chain a spin dash into the ground.
Oh, I see. Yeah. You see that a lot with characters like Amy, where you either use the jump hammer attack or the spin hammer attack, but you can't use the other one yet. Yeah, I suppose they would just have to change something. It's probably possible. Personally, if I could change anything, I would want Knuckles to be just slightly more in line with the other characters. I would wish that his speed shoes would like affect the glide and the climbing walls.
I think it does affect the glide. It's just like
it's just not very fast though. Yeah.
No, it affects the glide in the way that like you have to be at that speed before gliding. It is a little bit weird about the climbing. I think that's a good one, but that's like 4th on my list and not like at the top.
Yeah.
Like if the devs were like, Lunick, you get one change, you get to change exactly one thing, it would not be that. But if I was given like free reigns of Knuckles, that would be it.
No, fair enough. Yeah, no, I like your change. I think your change would make the character a lot more interesting, and certainly would clear up a big gripe that I have with the character. I don't think he goes fast enough to really warrant the little stop, but I am not good at Knuckles. This is the thing, you know. This is the thing you have to remember when you see me trolling. It's like, you know, Lunick's an expert at this character. I am just like a little pleb on the street, like a little goblin, just hurling insults.
Knuckles is bad.
So take anything I say with such a grain of salt, honestly.
I always did. I was in on the jokes. It was funny.
So when in your speedrunning history, you've obviously done a lot of runs. You've obviously had a lot of records, right? But has there ever been like this moment that's stuck out to you, like that you've just been like, wow, that was such a, you know, I'll remember that forever?
Oh, come on. You know the answer to this.
Is it Egg Rock Zone 2?
It's Egg Rock Zone 2.
Yeah, let's go.
For those who don't know, that was like genuinely like one of the biggest like points of my time playing SRB2. Specifically, like obviously, like I got underneath 4 minutes with every character. Sonic was like the first one on night. Maybe Tails was. I forget now. I think it was Sonic. But like, I was just really excited about that one. But the one that is still uploaded to my channel, I think it's the 3-minute 47-second with the title. Just like so cringy.
It's so iconic though.
Yeah, oh my god. I don't know what I was on, but I was just so excited to have like such a low time. And it was even funnier to think that even like the fastest time on this singular stage is still just as fast as the entirety of the 1.9 demo.
Yeah, it doesn't sound impressive when we say it in today's standards, but you've got to remember that Egg Rock Zone 2 has had a lot cut from it over the years.
Oh my god, so long. Like a whole minute mini boss. There was the big wind tunnel, I remember. Also, I was a little sad to see that taken out. Not really, but I was a little bit sad because I had the speedrun tech of like, but if you're like on the edge,
right on the edge, yeah,
you get a speed boost. Come on, it's so cool. Come on, guys, put it back. No, do not. That section was dog bad. Dog. I don't know if you want me to curse.
You can curse, but yeah, no, it was really bad. Like, don't bring that back.
No,
it's one of those things though that you learn it for the speedrun and you're like, well, now that I know it.
I think like I'm blanking. I don't think it's anymore. Just the Egg Rock Zone 2 doesn't have that like mini section anymore either, right?
Oh yeah, because you had the section where you were in those vents as well, didn't you? Just before the like wind tunnel and all this.
Yeah. And you would be mini for like a little bit. There was like
a
couple of jumps. You climbed up the boxes and then you immediately got big again. There was no purpose in it whatsoever, other than just like, hey, we can make you small.
Look what we can do in the engine. Yeah, then we never saw it again. Oh, that stage, I can't believe so much of it was cut, but like even now the run is so long. By the way, just so you know how inspirational that quote was from your Egg Rock Zone 2, it has been used several times by other runners when they've got a good Egg Rock Zone 2.
Oh, trust me, I've seen them. I'm glad the immortal, my words as like a 16-year-old will be immortalized forever in Egg Rock Zone 2.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you noticed, like I did like when I really got back into Smash, or into Smash in general, I did like a small purge of my channel. But it was like I wanted to keep all of the runs I knew people really liked, or that I also felt were really cool. There's even actually like a couple of runs that I still have, but I think are just privated. Like there's like, I don't think you can see it, but I have a really bad looking Green Flower Zone 2 as Knuckles back when he had that god awful model.
I can't believe that. I think someone said that was like literally the sprite taken from like SA2 or something.
I forget. I think you might be right. It was just like they took screenshots of Knuckles running in SA2 at like different angles, and then just plugged it in. I don't think it was SA2, but I couldn't tell you what game it was from. If it is SA2, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's so funny though, because it's not like consistently the SA2 model. It's like you stop and then you're like, the SRB2 Knuckles.
Yeah, there he is. He's here. Like it was like, and that was like the only one. Like even his life icon was still that grotesque like creature.
Oh my god. And then it dubbed the awesome name of Ugly Knuckles.
Yeah. He lived up to the name for sure. That they should have got that Knuckles for the movie.
Oh my god, I'm so glad that they brought the Sonic drawing back, but like that would have been so funny if they brought in Ugly Knuckles.
Well, that's like an SRB2 meme, obviously, but it would be. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's such a great memory.
Yeah, all right. Picture the scene from the second movie, but it's like the ugly Sonic from the first movie, and then ugly Knuckles from 1.09, and they're fighting each other. I just imagine like rather than having the voice he does now, it's just like text to speech, like, "You cannot have my power, Sonic," or "I don't need your power, Sonic." The like evil SpongeBob voice.
I think, like, literally, I think you've just created peak cinema.
I know they should hire me. I will work for $1 million.
This is where you've been, isn't it? This is why you've not been in the SRB2 community recently. You've been like cooking this up.
Yeah, Sonic 4 coming to theaters 2025.
Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that Egg Rock Zone 2 memory was one of the best, and I still remember the manic laughter. I don't blame you either. That stage was awful.
It was awful, and like that was genuinely I think like the most impressive speedrun I had done like for a long time.
Yeah, like literally the amount that was cut from Egg Rock Zone 2 over the years, like you wouldn't believe it. I think there was even a version. It might be the same speedrun that you did, but I think there was two skips in the 2.1 speedrun, but the one that you do at the end with the laser skip, like that was a big time save. And I remember eventually like that got edited out and I was really sad, but it's good that you got your record. I think that was that record from 2.0 actually?
2.0, yeah, because we didn't have the laser skip then. It was like something in 2.1 like messed with how the event triggered, and you could just charge a spin dash past it. I actually remember like seeing someone do that. Like I think someone uploaded like their own speedrun of like 2.1 Egg Rock Zone 2, and I'm like, man, if we could have done that in 2.0, that'd have been crazy.
Oh, speaking of stuff that we could have done in 2.0, I can't believe, like, I'm glad that they're gone nowadays, but younger me would have loved hyperwalls. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with strafe flying.
Hyperwalls with strafe flying would have got insane.
That would have been true speedrunning, holy. You would have got accused of, like, cheating back then, though.
Right, imagine, like, getting that in, like, a match. Like, there's a hyperwall in a match and you strafe fly into it. Oh, that would have been insane.
Oh. No, we need to go back. We need to, like... it's too late now.
Oh, no, it's never too late. We gotta, like, dig deeper. We're old men. Go back.
Now, you've been around for a while, and I remember seeing a lot of competition from yourself and others, like, back in the day, but do you think you had any really big SRB2 rivalries that stood out?
There's really only one big one that I could really think of that I would consider like an actual rivalry. I believe his name was ORS.
Oh yeah, he's still around.
Yeah, like I think we traded times back in the 2.0 days, like regularly, like back and forth. Like I think like just because I was more of like an enigma in like in the 2.2 version, because I was like mostly like doing Knuckles and then just like the like weird runs. I don't really feel like I had like a rival, and like I was more interested in like seeing what I could do to help like the Sonic and Tails runs to like more advance themselves. I wasn't really interested in competing because like it's just like wasn't where my mindset was.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, like I think ORS was like my biggest. Like our ORS is probably the only person I really felt like I had like a big rivalry with, just because of how much times I can remember like we would be trading back. I can even remember like coming home from school and like looking on and being like, okay, where's he at today? What's he trying to take from me? Like
I remember he was a lot better than me. I can admit this now. I wouldn't have admitted this back in the day, but I remember having a big rivalry with the speedrunner Pedro. And
oh yeah, I remember Petro.
I remember when he discovered that you could activate the windshield ability with the jump button if you were like falling. And like that was such a massive speedrun tech. Like so many stages just overnight. Like the record was way faster. It was just it's funny like how these little rivalries like make this game so much faster. And yeah, Ors even today is still around, still, you know, being an absolute menace and getting times to crazy standards. Like I don't know if you recently saw the Egg Rock 2. But yeah, it's thanks to Oars that we now have like the most insane time that I think I've ever seen.
I will have to. Yeah, I haven't looked at it quite recently, but I will definitely have to check that out.
Oh yeah, it's worth a view for sure. That was from Vibes Turfs, who ended up getting that time while racing Oars, but they found this just crazy cycle. And yeah, if you were gonna have a rivalry with anyone, I think it would have been Oars, because he just doesn't give up. Like he goes for all of those just insane strats. But yeah, obviously you've done a lot with. This isn't a Knuckles joke, by the way. This is talking about actual modded characters. I was going to say you've got a lot of experience with modded characters. How did you like get into that? Like, what were you looking for in modded characters to be like, okay, I'm going to speedrun this one?
Uh, a lot of it was just like I felt like uh a lot of what I wanted to do in SRP2 had already been explored, and I kind of wanted to just like especially because there was like such a big interest in general in like the casual community for modded characters, because like a lot of different people have like their favorite characters, and like a lot of it comes specifically from the quality that was coming from people making modded characters. So if I felt like a character was like very well designed and I could do something interesting with them, I wanted to try them. Like I had like a ton of just like ILs for modded characters that I just uploaded for fun. I remember like some of my favorite ones were like what was the speed hack thing or whatever? Hyper momentum. I did one
like
for
X momentum,
Amy.
yeah.
Yeah, I did one for Amy in Greenflower 1 right before Hyper Walls got taken out. Where it was like I think I got it down to like sub 10 seconds. I did like an April Fool's joke of Inazuma in a wheelchair for Greenflower 1.
Oh my god.
And of course like the most popular video on my channel to this date, the fucking all emeralds shadow speedrun. That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was surprised how well made the Shadow speedrun was, actually. It's nice because back in the day, I was never that interested in modded characters, like way back in the day, because if you remember, I think there was like 7 abilities that like a character could have, and it was like a set selection. Like there wasn't anything you could really do to make it different. But nowadays with like Lua scripting, you can literally make a character do anything.
Yeah, that was like the problem with modded characters back in the day, because it was like, here is my modded character, it is my OC. I gave them the double jump. And it's like, okay, well, that's not interesting at all. And it's like, that was like the problem, is we didn't have super interesting modded characters, because it was either that, or you had the complete opposite spectrum, which was just like, Super Mystic Sonic, and it was like, yeah, you can complete the game while, just like not even staring at the screen, just roll your face on the keyboard. Oh, good job, you got 5 seconds in Egg Rock 2.
Yeah, walls? What are walls?
Yeah. So that was like the big problem with modded characters, whereas like nowadays, like especially like once it was kind of getting like late, like 2021, I think it was, or like 2020, between like the ranges of like early 2021 and late 2021, I remember like really like the modded community was super popping off. Like I remember the Shadow mod was super crazy. X Momentum was a lot of fun. I remember I did like a run of Espio, but just, like in general, just like it no longer was that just like here is my character that has a Thok that is not as strong as Sonic's, but also like you can use it a second time in the air. Like that's not interesting. But now it's like, oh, here's my character that has a slower Thok than Sonic, but like I can bounce off of a wall, and then I can chain that, and then also like I have like a drop dash from it, where it gives me a better spin dash than a standstill spin dash. Like just wild stuff that you wouldn't even dream of back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember a very old mod of like Silver, and like literally I think the mod creator had to make it so that he never had an ability. because there wasn't really any abilities to pick from back then or something. And nowadays, if you see Silver, you know, he's got so many options. Like, he's got all these glides that he can do. He has like speed boost tech and just such a genuinely fun character. I definitely think that this game has progressed to such a fantastic point, honestly.
Very much so.
It's funny, something that you said earlier, by the way. I was the same, by the way. I was one of those people that were like, oh, this game is definitely like better than actual Sonic games. But back in the day, I used to think, wow, you know, this game looks so good. And if you actually look at 2.0 and 2.1 again, like, in hindsight, it looks like so bad.
I mean, like, that's pretty standard, you know? Like, if you think back to like movies in like the 80s, they look horrible right now, but like when you think back, like if you were back in that time, that's crazy. How'd they do that, you know? It's the same thing, I think, with like especially like 1.09. Like, we all knew Knuckles looked hideous, but like we're playing in a 3D environment that reminds us of the classic games. Like, that's mind-blowing.
It was, but at the same time, like, the games that were out when I was playing SRB2 were like Sonic Unleashed. And I was sat here saying, okay, this is great. This is better than that game.
Well, yeah, because like, I mean, like, I feel like people never felt like we got that true classic style 3D game. I think like the adventure games were pretty close, not gonna lie, but like they still didn't quite feel like that. And SRB2 really gave people that feeling of, this is the classic games in 3D that we had all really wanted. And that, I think that's what made people attached to it. Even if it looked like awful, it was, the game feel was good, and it just was reminding people what they loved about the classics.
Yeah, and I think it started this thankfully positive trend. This sort of was reflective of the game Old School RuneScape, which sort of re-released 2014, but it sort of revitalized people into saying like, okay, we're going to play these games that like play good and don't just look good. And I think thankfully that's taken on more and more as people realize a lot of like AAA games aren't actually that good. And yeah, it's just nice to see that that's catching on more. Because there's definitely people who do play games just for graphics, but thankfully SRB2 just had that a little bit of something.
SRB's game feel is like unmatched in like any Sonic game. Like, I won't say it's necessarily the best per se, but I do think like it's just, there's nothing like it, and that's like the biggest standing point SRB2 has going for it. Even if you like, even like in older versions, and why it like stood the test of time.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And again, it's one of those moments again where I am gutted that I never got to play like this version back in the day, but I don't know. Where I started with SRB2 personally, I think like the journey was super fun, and yeah, it is like you said, we just see things with these rose-tinted glasses, and it was definitely great at the time, so.
I think looking back, the best place to start would have been 2.0. Starting in 1.9, there was nothing there really. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously it was like a demo, but like it definitely like was not the key point of the game.
Yeah, it was interesting because again, we'd never seen anything like it, and I think for a lot of people, you know, we never really had really strong computers as well, and you know, the Doom engine's very versatile, so like most people have access to this game as well. So for a lot of us, it was just like the only game that you could really download onto your computer that like will work.
I do see a question. Do you have your soundboard active for Discord?
Oh, I think it might come through actually.
Okay, let me know if this works, because this is going to answer their question.
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
That did indeed come through. Thank you for that. The question,
You're
by
welcome.
the way, for anyone who's just listening is Lunick going to try Marvel Rivals?
I'm really big into tank players, or tank characters, so I gravitate to them. Magneto's been my favorite so far.
Yeah, I've not tried them, but like, it's been a fun game. I've been genuinely surprised by Marvel Rivals.
It's fun.
It was.
That's all a game needs to be, you know?
I think the first time I played it, I was like, okay, this is good, but it's not going to be like one of them games I keep playing. And then I kept playing it. That's how you know.
That's how it always is.
No, this is a big one. Obviously, this is nowadays what I think you're probably most known for. What led you to end up doing the 200 emblem speedrun? Because obviously, like, so much went into that. And I know if you look on your channel, like, a lot of your videos are like 200 emblem routing. And some of those sections are like just gigantic. You know what I mean? Like, how did you end up getting into the process of just being like, yeah, this is what I want to speedrun?
Oh gosh, that's probably like the weirdest one of saying like how I got into it, because my mindset was very much in the sense of like, I want to explore this game in as deep of facets as I possibly can. This is kind of what led from like Knuckles to going to Fang to going to Amy, because like people were already out. Like Duck was exploring Metal Sonic. Obviously Sonic himself had a huge following. Helvian was like revolutionizing Tails, and we had the category for 200 emblems. I think very specifically the catalyst like really came from. I don't know if you remember the I forget. I think it was Gunless Fang. I did a run of.
Oh my goodness, I do remember this.
And I went out of my way to get all the emeralds because we did not have an official all emerald Fang run. And so I did that. And then I was just like, well, you know, if I'm gonna do something like this, maybe I should like really explore into like getting like completing the leaderboard, just so we have something everywhere. And it felt like 200 emblems was just this thing that like I think like Helvian was doing at the time, and I kept like looking at him like, man, this could be so much better. And I was like, I think I remember trying to suggest stuff to him, but I think he was like uninterested because he was just doing it just to do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna make it better.
Yeah, you're like, I want to do it now. I understand that
It's
completely.
my turn with the 200 emblem run.
I have to admit, I have gotten into speedruns like that before. It's just like, this guy's not listening to me. No, that's pretty funny. But 200 emblems, like it's such a long run. Do you remember what the first time you got in that category was?
I think it was close to like 4 hours, if I remember correctly, a little bit more. I could probably pull it up, actually.
Yeah. Because, yeah, there's a lot of character switching, because if you don't know the category in depth, there's a lot of emblems that you really do have to be like specific characters to get. It's not just like, okay, I'm just going to cheese everything with tail, although a lot of it is. You know, there's like sections with like breakable floors, so you can really only get there is like Fang or Amy, and there's sections like Knuckles you can only really feasibly get into there. So, you know, really, I think the only category people weren't doing in the speedrun was like Metal Sonic. Was that right? Only character.
Every character made an appearance. Real quick, I did end up getting 5 hours and 36 minutes. That was the first one.
All right, so significantly underestimated.
Yeah, so every character made at least one appearance. I know Metal Sonic we ended up using in the Metal Sonic race just because he was the most consistent and to be fast in that.
Yeah. Well, also it was a bit weird of a time to be using Metal Sonic, because it's not like today where people are big Metal Sonic stands, you know, like back in the day, Metal Sonic was like not touched by anyone.
Oh, well, Duck did a lot of Metal Sonic stuff, but it was like kind of like how I was with Knuckles. It was like Duck was the Metal Sonic guy, and I was the Knuckles guy, and like that's like if you wanted any information, we were the only people doing anything with the characters.
Oh yeah, and definitely nowadays a lot of the insight that came from Metal Sonic was just stuff that Duck had done and then pinned in the Metal Sonic chat room. So it's funny to see that now, like, we actually have an established sort of space for that. But yeah, it's funny because I think nowadays, like, Metal Sonic is pretty fast in a lot of areas, and you might use him in that speedrun a bit more. Just because of what we know nowadays, though.
I think we'll use him less because of the big change being like you can get time and record or time and ring emblems in the main campaign now. Like, I think there's a video uploaded just yesterday from Particle. If everything goes to plan, we never enter Castle Eggman Zone in Record Attack.
Oh wow, that is actually pretty big.
All ring, time, and normal emblems are done in the campaign now. Or can be done in the campaign.
Wow, that's going to be interesting to see how you get ring and time in that stage.
The ring and time is actually like super easy in 2. We already had the route for ring and time in like back when I was doing it. It's just we had no reason to do it because of
yeah, because you didn't have because the emblem change wasn't back then.
Yeah, so we just never like truly ran it, but now that we actually have a reason to. It's a little bit tight in 1. In Egg Rock or at Castle Eggman 2, it is incredibly free, like insanely so. There's so many extra rings. In fact, in Vibe's video, he has like 30 seconds left over to get the time emblem when he finishes the stage.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a nice change. How much time do you predict will be saved with that change?
In theory, I feel like very easily like 20 minutes. My upper estimate, I think you can at least like you can like realistically get the time down to 2 hours 30 minutes. Wow,
that would be insane to see.
It's actually probably the biggest catalyst for me wanting to do anything. Not to get people's hopes up. I'm very flaky on things like this, but if you were to see me come back anytime soon, it would be for 200 emblem, because like seeing that change just like has drastically altered a lot of how the run is going to be done in the future.
Yeah,
and I think that in itself makes it very interesting.
You spoke about Particle and their runs, and Particle has been putting in crazy work, but have you been involved at all in that process?
Yeah, so actually I came in the Discord one day when Particle was doing it, and I actually gave Particle the entire route for Castle Eggman 1, because he was like trying to figure out how to do Castle Eggman 1 and get all the emblems, because he's like, I'm really close, I've got all these like interesting strats. I'm like, actually check this out, and I literally just did the run for him.
And they were just like, yep, that'll do it. That's pretty good. It's good to see that you're still around, even in your limited capacity, because I know you took a big step down, because obviously there was a time when you were helping moderate the space, and obviously we thank you for that. But yeah, naturally you're gonna like play the game less and stuff once you move away and all this. So.
Yeah, I'm just to go into that a little bit, because I feel bad to like not just you, but like the community in general. It's just kind of how my mindset is on a lot of stuff like this, which is just I set personal goals that I want to achieve, and as soon as I achieve those goals, my interests kind of start to wane a little bit. It was specifically after the 200 emblem, I was just like, man, that was like the big thing I wanted to do, and I just wasn't sure where else I wanted to go, and then my interest kind of just took me elsewhere, and you know, that's so
yeah.
Small apology to everyone. I didn't mean to just up and leave, but it's unfortunately just how my brain works.
I totally get it. I feel like I did something similar after the Well, you ended up helping with this, actually. Helping me realise what a bracket was and what I was doing wrong, everything.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we ended up making the event for Caesar Channel, the Sonic event, and then I remembered after that ended, I was like, oh, well, that was like my only goal for this space, so I guess I'm just gonna like leave. Just took this massive break, and it was like, yeah.
I remember when you came to me with that bracket, and it immediately had like our top two Sonic Lemon and I'm blanking on the name.
Oh, would it have been Vibes back then?
I don't think it was Vibes. If it was
Refrag.
Or Refrag, yes. I remember you showed me the bracket and it had those two playing first. And I'm like, why in the world are they playing first? And you're like, because it'd be really interesting. That's what people want to see. I'm like, yeah, so you put it at the end so it'd be more interesting so people stick around.
Look, I didn't know what a bracket even looked like, okay? Like, I needed a lot of help.
Oh, Doug's totally right. We need 200 more emblems in this game.
We do. That's right. That's your call to come back, my guy.
Yeah, give me the 400 emblem run ASAP.
Oh, there was a question in chat, but I've just missed it then. Speaking of that event, though, by the way, it will come back. But speaking of
I see the. Oh, sorry. I actually found the question. If you want me to.
Oh, it's fine. I was going to say it's related to how that event ended up happening. Obviously, I was very new to making brackets. I had no idea, again, what it even looked like or what it was supposed to look like. Why Seed 1 and 2 shouldn't have versed each other at this first game, which no one was going to be watching. But how did you get into that space? Obviously, it was to do with Smash Brothers, but how did because you ended up doing some tournament organization, if I remember correctly, but how did you get into any of that?
So that actually just came, like, I had a buddy who was, like, running the Smash events to begin with, and he just kind of invited me down, and, like, I wanted people to hang out with, and I thought this was, like, a good excuse. Eventually it got to the point where the guy who was running our Smash 4 events, he was mostly a Melee player, and he was super uninterested. He just did not care about Smash 4, which, to be fair, not his game. But he was just doing it because it was like the popular game and he kind of wanted to step away. And we didn't really have anyone else to run it. And I'm like, well, can I do it? And he's like, sure. And so I just got into the space of running and I just steadily learned from there what is good, what is bad, just kept trying stuff and like listening to people's requests as to how to properly run a bracket and just steadily learn from there.
That's quite interesting. There's like a standard bracket that I think everyone uses. It's basically like, I think the general format is like seed 1 versus like the last seed, seed 2 versus like the bottom last seed. Did you end up like just using this standard seeding, or did you end up doing something different?
So that's pretty much like the way you seed everything. There would be a couple of times where we would switch up seeding just for like fun nights, but like for main brackets and such, we would always like follow that, just because like that's how you create kind of like the better events. Because like, yeah, it obviously it sucks to be like, oh, I'm the bottom seed and I always have to fight the best player in the room, but like you're gonna have to lose eventually, and if we put the two bottom seed players against each other immediately, that creates the issue that now like the top players are having to play each other, and then it exacerbates the problem, which is that like, you know, if like the top two people play each other round 1 and then the bottom two people play each other, the person who loses that is guaranteed to lose the next match. So it doesn't fix anything. In fact, I think it makes things worse, because like as soon as you know like, oh, I'm the bottom seed up against the second seed because the second seed lost the first seed, what's the point in even playing, you know?
Yeah, I suppose you also you might end up with some like really weird upsets, because if you have seed 1 and 2 versing each other really early, and I never considered this, but it's like if C2 gets like really tilted and loses their next game, like you've just probably ruined the most exciting kind of turnout for the event, like inadvertently, like just with you trying to be funny with your yeah, trying to revolutionize it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that I suppose there's a lot to think about in that regard, but yeah, I just wish there was like a new, I wish like the mathematicians would create a new bracket that was just a bit better.
There actually is, uh, but it's the problem is like it's difficult for like a speedrun style event to cater to it. Unless like you did like multiple rounds in between each other. Have you ever heard of like a Swiss bracket?
Oh yeah, like the round robin type. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's quite
I
a good
think
one.
I think that would be a good way to do it because that gets people a lot of bang for their buck. It's just like I don't know how you guys are doing viewership on it, but like, do you do like multiple runs at like the same time, or do you try and give everyone like an opportunity to be on it at different intervals?
Oh yeah, we try and make it so that every run is like streamed, so to speak. So yeah, there's not like any behind the scenes stuff going on.
Yeah, that I think doing a Swiss like that would be impossible, more or less.
Yeah, fair. You just have way too many rounds. No, that makes sense. Yeah, because you also get like a lot more rounds doing that. Because obviously in your standard double elimination, you've got 2 rounds minimum, but with a Swiss, you've got however many people are in the event.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I like that. Speaking of TO, I know you don't do tournament organization anymore, but would you get back into it, or like would anything have to change for you to get back into it?
It's kind of weird. I could potentially see myself getting into it, but realistically, probably not. Kind of just enjoyed like settling back with my wife, just kind of chilling out. I could see it being like a like casual thing that I help out with, but I don't see myself ever being like a head TO again.
Yeah, I can see that. It must be like just incredibly stressful. I've only ever held like small events here and stuff, and then some stuff before this for like charity, and even that's like really stressful.
Mm. There was a point for our Smash community where I was literally TOing 5 events a week.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that must have
it
been awful.
was very rough. It was very rough.
All right. Go back to this question that was asked earlier. It was what are your expectations for version 2.3? Because I don't know if you know this, but there's been a lot of talks in the Discord channel. They stopped the official level design contest because they were saying, hey, we're very close to like a new version of this game. We've got to like put all our development efforts into this now. So what are you expecting to see if they do update this game?
So I think obviously biggest I feel like we'll probably have the completed campaign, or at least like the main bones of it, because I think we're still missing one whole zone still, right? Like there's like the Black City or whatever. I can't remember what that
Oh yeah,
stage was
Dark
called.
City. Yeah,
Dark City, yeah. I think we're missing that. I could see that coming. I feel like we're also gonna get um obviously I think Red Volcano Zone 2 is almost a guaranteed at this point, right?
yeah.
Um,
Hopefully that would be well anticipated
and
zone.
probably a big controversial change that I fully expect is the whatever Sonic change they're going with.
Ooh. Well, if it's to happen, then that would be the time to do it. I think.
Mhm. I think you got to give people time to adjust to it, and like because of how long they've been talking about it, I feel like it's gonna be now or like never, if they go through with it. That is.
That was going to be a question for the end, but you have brought it up. So, what is your opinion on the possibility of them changing Sonic's core ability that we've had for all of these years.
Oh, ask the guy who doesn't play Sonic his opinion on Sonic.
I mean, you
alright,
have speedrun him in the past, so.
All right. I do have probably what's going to be a little bit of a controversial take, in that I think it is going to be a good thing that they change the base Sonic's ability. It is not uncommon, the people who I've shared SRB2 with, and they're like, oh, I want to play Sonic, and the way Sonic plays is very frustrating to new people. I think the idea of changing the ability is a very good one, in the sense that like the current Sonic ability is just not catered enough to people who are just learning the game, and it makes it a very frustrating first experience. You can say, oh, just play Tails, but like, I'm sorry, are you telling me to come into the Sonic game and play Tails? You know what I mean?
That's what I did back in the day. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, there was a big difference with the Thok back in like Final Demo and 2.0 and now. Like everything now I think is like Death Pit City. Like it's deaf to use the Thok now with Sonic. I don't know, it's a weird one. I do agree with your take though. You won't see like new people even using the ability because it's like, oh, if I use that ability I'm going to fall into a death pit and die.
Yeah, I think there is a very good compromise though, which is just like we need to just have classic SRB2 Sonic. I think it would even be funny to have the original like 1.9 looking Sonic.
Oh, that'd be pretty funny actually.
And then just give him Thok as it is currently. Like, I think that is a really good compromise that they could and honestly should go with, because that will cater to both audiences, which is that now you have a more casual Sonic that is approachable to new players, but the people who have dedicated so much time to playing Thok Sonic still have this accessible. And like, just throw him in as like a 20 emblem reward or something, or maybe beat the game as regular Sonic and you unlock classic Sonic. It's even like kind of trendy with like the way classic Sonic is handled in like modern Sonic games. I think that'd be a really funny like call to that.
Yeah, or like the Mario meme. You've now unlocked Luigi. Yeah.
you've now unlocked Sonic's true form.
Oh. No, I think that's pretty good. Speaking of like changes, by the way, is there anything like you would see it changing too? Because I don't know if you've tried like the Mystic Realm Community Edition, but they had their own spin on like what the change could be, and I think it got a lot more people, used to the idea. Like if they were to change Sonic, like, oh, it could be this.
Remind me. I know he still has like a Thok-like ability. Yes.
Yeah, but I think they also gave him like a bounce that you can use on walls. So if you like hit specific walls, it doesn't work for like unclimbable walls, but if you hit like non-unclimbable walls, you can get like a double bounce, which gives you another Thok.
Can you do it like infinitely or just once?
Oh no, just the once. So you'll...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you bounce off the wall, like you can bounce off the wall again and get like a bigger like bounce, so to speak. So you give Sonic all this verticality, or you can like just fuck away from the wall and get some more speed or whatever.
Gotcha. I could see that being pretty interesting. As far as like what ability, like because like the Thok was like pretty heavily based off of the homing attack.
Yeah.
It's like it's really hard to like, what ability could you give Sonic that would benefit him, because you clearly can't do like drop dash does not solve the outstanding issues of SRB2's level design. In fact, it would exasperate. And then I feel like there's not a lot of other utility. Like the easiest answer and the worst answer, in my opinion, is give him like a double jump. I feel like a double jump is just kind of lazy in full design aspects, and just doesn't do anything that will allow Sonic to like really interact with the game in any interesting facet, and I think would actually in fact make him like the most boring character in the game.
Yeah, because obviously a lot of people would be like, oh, but it fits in like Sonic colors, but I agree. I think the main thing with that is as well, it's not very exciting. It's not got much pizzazz.
I do think like oh, I had a train of thought, now it's off my brain. I can't think of it, sorry.
I will say it's interesting though that you thought that, but it is, you know, I think it is the most reasonable thought that, like, we have to be honest, that Sonic's Fuck is very inaccessible to new players. I couldn't think what I would necessarily want it to be, though. That's the main thing. I think that's why everyone's so divided, but yeah, it definitely would be a good thing. You know, you'd bring in a lot more people. I think it just upsets me personally, because we have this category, you know, where it's such high skill. You know, you have to do these perfect, like, platforming and whatnot. And I don't know, there's just something exciting about it. There's, you know, this skill to master. It's like, oh, that's been taken away from us, but I don't know. I guess we've had that for like 20 years, so.
That's why I really think like keeping it in as some facet, like I said, as like the classic Sonic or whatever. I think that's like the big compromise you need. It's just because then that skill isn't lost. Obviously, it's not like the main thing, but it's still there, and genuinely, I feel like that would still be the most popular category for running the game, just because of how interesting the ability is.
Yeah, no, that would be like the easiest way, I think, to cater to all audiences, would be like some sort of classic SOB2 Sonic. Yeah, I think that's an interesting answer, and it's definitely not a take that other people have said, so I like it. Now, obviously you helped us with the very first Caesar event, which was a Sonic event tournament. I know that you don't really get involved with events here, but if you were given free reign and you could host any event and you somehow got all the people to turn up, which is a miracle for this community, what would you host?
200 Emblem.
Oh my god!
Hey, you're giving me free reign to force like 30 people to run 200 emblems.
Oh my god, that's gonna take forever.
All right. Well, in a more like realistic scenario, I think it'd be really funny to make everyone play Fang.
Oh, that is funny.
Like get all these guys who have been doing nothing but talking to Sonic. Now you gotta shoot. I think that would be like genuinely a very interesting and funny event, just like seeing how people do it.
Yeah, because it's just not going to be anyone good, because I don't know if anyone knows about the gap, but like you've got like Emily Saylor, who's very far ahead, like world record holder for Fang, and second place is like no one here.
Hey, I'm pretty good at Fang.
Yeah, but it's like minutes away, you know. She's pretty good.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I just think it'd be interesting to see people try and like work around Fang, because like I think Amy is like an interesting answer, but like Amy plays like a Sonic character, whereas Fang does not. He is. If there's any like truly original modded character in the game, it's Fang. Like what the heck? You can't spin. You can only jump on things when you have your tail out. You got a gun.
Oh yeah, he's a very funny character. Oh no, that's pretty fun. And I think the last question that I have for you, I think this one definitely most interesting. Like nowadays we've got all the resources we can think of, like, you know, for speedrunning. But what was it like when you were back in Final Demo and there was obviously no one's really posting resources because like no one even knows how the internet really works, and YouTube was this kind of new space, you know, it only came out in like 2004. So what was it like back then, and do you think it was like better then for speedruns, like having to figure it out on your own or with this smaller community, or do you think nowadays it's the better experience?
Well, I'm gonna be perfectly honest and say, like, I don't think there's really a big difference. Like, obviously, resources are a lot easier to find because, like, there's more people doing it. But, like, honestly, the SRP2 message boards just feel like the way the Discord is ran, a little more chaotic in the sense that, like, rather than having like dedicated channels to every individual character where you can go back and look for like specific strats or ask specific people, it was just, you know, check out and see what latest run got posted in the message board and like go back like 30 messages to see if you can find whoever found the hyper crawler bounce tech in Castle Eggman 3 or whatever. Like, you know, I think genuinely it is a lot better nowadays. It was a lot funnier back then because of just how limited we were, but you know, it's just inequivalently better now than it ever has been. So
No, that's fair. Me personally, I didn't really ever use like the forum post, but that's good to know that that kind of like internet scene was just the same like wherever you went. So I like that. But yeah, no, it's been a pleasure having you on the channel. Like legitimately, when I started speedrunning this game, like there you were, literally every single stage you posted online, and you weren't just, it wasn't just like because you were the first one doing it, it was just good by default. Like your runs hold up, like you were really good at it. So it was genuinely a pleasure back then. You were definitely an idol of mine back then, so it's great to be able to speak with you on the call. I know we've spoken before, but
no, we've spoken regularly.
yeah, of course, but definitely in this sort of format, you know, I think younger me would have been like, "What? You spoke with Tails Mastermind?" But no, it's been a pleasure, and honestly, like you've been fantastic for the space. Even though you've not been around for a long time, I think you've just done so much good for the community. So yeah, it's been great to have you.
2 hour 30 Emblem 2025. You heard it here first, folks.
Like leaked.
Oh, but genuinely, thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure. It's always nice to kind of like also get reacquainted with like what's going on in the community and stuff going on. Super busy at the moment, but it's I will not lie, it is on my radar. If you see random Emblem postings, don't be surprised.
We love to hear that. All right, well that was Lunick. Thank you very much. And moving on, we're gonna just be advertising our event coming up. This is the Anything But Vanilla event. This is as it sounds. It's any game submission in a marathon mode format except for the classic SRB2 any percent run. So yeah, if you use !sign up, you can get the link to be able to sign up to that. You don't need to have a run already. You can learn it on the time that, you know, leading up to the 18th and 19th. You just need to be able to stream. That's our main thing. And yeah, it's going to be a really good time. It's going to be nice to see what the community runs outside of SRB2, and it's just going to be really nice to be doing events again. So it'll be exciting to see everyone there. Yep, thank you to Lunick again. He's been an excellent guest. Obviously, bouts of knowledge. I think a lot of people really will value that information. And yeah, we'll see you all next week with our last interviewee before the event.
Have a good one.